In the last video, we spoke about the 5 steps in organizing, which are 1. Determination of objectives, 2. Enumeration of objectives, 3. Classification of activities, and 4. Assignment of duties. Before we get to the 5th step on delegation of authority, that is making each of the individuals responsible and accountable for their actions and giving them authority to make decisions on your behalf and commit resources, we need to understand that a clear organizational structure is to be drawn up and all employees are made aware of it. While organizing is deciding how best to group organizational resources, an organization structure is a set of 6 building blocks or elements that managers may use to configure and construct an organization. These 6 building blocks are 1. Designing jobs, 2. Grouping jobs, 3. Establishing reporting relationships between jobs, 4. Distributing authority amongst jobs, 5th. Coordinating activities amongst jobs, and 6. Differentiating amongst positions. Let's take the first one, designing jobs. Job design is the determination of an individual's work-related responsibilities. And job specialization is the degree to which the overall task of an organization is broken down and divided into smaller component parts, sometimes referred to as the division of labor. There are certain benefits of job specialization. Workers performing small, simple tasks will become more proficient at each task. Transfer time between tasks decreases. The more narrowly defined a job is, the easier it is to develop specialized equipment to assist with that job. And when an employee who performs a highly specialized job is absent or resigns, the manager is able to train someone new at a relatively low cost. There are also certain limitations about job specialization. Workers who perform highly specialized jobs may become bored and dissatisfied. The job may become so specialized that it offers no challenge or stimulation. If boredom and monotony set in, absenteeism rises and the quality of work may suffer. The anticipated benefits of job specialization do not always occur. Although some degree of specialization is necessary, it should not be carried to extremes because of the possible negative consequences. Let's now look at work teams. Work team allows the entire group to design the work system it will use to perform an interrelated set of tasks. The team itself decides how jobs will be allocated and assigns specific tasks to the members, monitors and controls its own performance, and has the autonomy over work scheduling. In terms of departmentalization, this is a process of grouping jobs according to some logical arrangement. In smaller organizations, the owner, manager, or partner may be able to personally oversee everyone who works there. As the organization grows, new managerial positions are created to supervise work of others grouped according to some plan, which leads to the creation of departments. The first is what we call functional departmentation. This is groups jobs involving the same or similar activities. Most common in smaller organizations has 3 primarily advantages. Each department can be staffed by experts in that functional area. Supervision is also facilitated because an individual manager needs to be familiar with only a relative narrow set of skills. Coordinating activities inside each of the department is easier. Disadvantages emerge as an organization grows because it becomes increasingly difficult to monitor accountability and performance. The second is product departmentalization. This group's activities around products or product groups. It has 3 major advantages. All activities associated with one product or product group can be easily integrated and coordinated. The speed and effectiveness of decision making are enhanced. The performance of individual products or product groups can be assessed more easily and objectively, thereby improving the accountability of departments for the results of their activities. It also has two major disadvantages. Managers in each department may focus on their own product or product group to the exclusion of the rest of the organization. Administrative costs may rise because each department must have its own functional specialist for areas such as market research and financial analysis. The third is customer departmentalization. Occurs when an organization structures its activities to respond to and interact with specific customers or customer groups. Major advantages is that organization is able to use skilled specialists to deal with unique customers or customer groups. The disadvantage is that a fairly large administrative staff is required to integrate various department activities to make sure the organization does not overcommit itself in any one area. And then you have location departmentalization, which is grouping of jobs on the basis of defined geographic sites or areas. Primary advantage is that it enables the organization to respond easily to a unique customer or environmental characteristics in various regions. The disadvantage is that larger administrative staff may be required if the organization must keep track of units in various locations. Other considerations for departmentalization. In some organizations, departments may be referred to as divisions, units, sections, and bureaus. Regardless of the label used, they represent groups of jobs that have been tied together according to some unifying principle. Almost all organizations are likely to use multiple bases of departmentalization depending on level. It is quite common that the organizations use a variety of bases of departmentalization for different levels and different set of activities. This is shown pictorially in this figure. The third is establishing reporting relationship. The first issue is the chain of command is a clear and distinct line of authority amongst the positions in the organization and has two components. The first is unity of command, that is, each person within an organization must have a clear reporting relationship to one and only one boss. The second is scalar principle. There must be a clear and unbroken line of authority that extends from the lowest to the highest position in the organization. The next is span of management, sometimes called the span of control. It is the number of people who report to a particular manager. Then we have establishing reporting relationships in terms of tall and flat organizations. A flat structure seems to lead to a higher level of employee morale and productivity. A wider span of management in a flat structure may result in a manager having more administrative and supervisory responsibilities. If these responsibilities become excessive, the flat organization may suffer. A tall structure is more expensive because of the large number of managers. Communication in a tall structure seems to suffer due to increased number of people through whom information must pass. Both structures are depicted in this diagram. The next issue is determining the appropriate span. The relative importance of each factor varies in different settings. Managers must determine the importance of each factor or set of factors when deciding the optimal span of management for unique situation. So coming to a conclusion, of the 6 building blocks of the organization structure, we have addressed the first 3. That is, designing jobs, grouping jobs, establishing reporting relationships between jobs. In the next video, we will look at the fourth, and the fifth and sixth will be dealt with in the video after that. Thank you.